Welcome back, guys. I'm Eric from Techisode TV. These are Samsung's brand new Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, and I guarantee this is the most complete guide on the internet for these buds. I'm covering everything from what you get in the box to every single feature and setting, and I'm even going to show you guys some hidden features that nobody else has shown you yet. And I'll even have affiliate links in the description and a pinned comment to the best deals to help you guys save some money. Let's start with what you get in the box. The back of the box has two pull tabs that are pretty satisfying to pull off. And when you open the box, you see the Buds 4 Pro front and center. Looking inside the cover, we get a recessed box that pulls out with a little tab. And in that tiny box, we get a quick start guide with basic information about the buds, as well as another smaller box that holds a larger and smaller set of earbud tips. But unfortunately, we no longer get a USB-C cable in the box like previous years. The Buds 4 Pro have a paper sleeve that peels away pretty easily, and we can now see the buds themselves. Taking a closer look, we get some Samsung branding on the bottom, and if we flip it over, we get a USB-C charging port on the back, but this does also support wireless charging with a standard wireless charger, as well as on the back of some Samsung phones that support wireless power share. Next to the USB-C port is a super tiny multi-purpose button. If you press this once while the buds are in the case, it'll show you the battery life with a red, yellow, or green LED. If you take the earbuds out of the case, then press the button, it'll show you how much battery is left in the case itself, again with that red, yellow, or green LED. The last function of the button is to enter pairing mode if you long press it, but the earbuds do need to be in the case when you do this. So if I put the earbuds in the case, then long press the button, you'll see the LED start flashing red, green, and blue, letting you know it's in pairing mode. If you want to cancel pairing mode, just press the button again. I want to quickly take a look at the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro from last year because Samsung made a big change with how these actually fit in the case. Previously, you'd have your right earbud on the right side, which makes sense, but it came out backwards, and then you'd have to roll it over to actually put it in your ear the right way, and putting them back in the case was difficult because it wasn't rounded, so you'd have to make sure you had it in the right orientation, and you'd have to drop it in like that. If it was in any way rotated any other direction, it wouldn't easily go back into the case. You did get used to it after some time, but it just wasn't the best design. The Buds 4 Pro have a much better design. It is so easy to get these buds out of the case because you can grab the entire stem. And you also don't need to roll them in your finger when you take them out because they're already in the perfect position to place into your ears. Samsung also kept the magnets in the case, so if I flip this upside down and start shaking it up and down, the buds do not fall out of the case. The magnet does hold on there pretty well. So that should help prevent the buds from popping out of the case if you accidentally ever drop the case. And it also makes sure they don't just fall out whenever you open the case. Another big difference in the buds is the stem design. So the Buds 3 Pro had this triangular shaped stem, and it wasn't always super intuitive to reach up and use the controls on the buds. I would sometimes find myself pinching on the wrong part of the stem or swiping on the wrong part of it, but the new stem is a lot more intuitive. You have this flat part on the back, and if you want to use the controls, that's right on the front, and there's a little notch right here to help you find it, but the controls are exactly the same. So you swipe up for volume up, swipe down for volume down, single pinch to play pause, double pinch to skip forward, triple pinch to skip backwards, and pinch and hold for a customizable function that's customizable on both earbuds, so you can customize them individually. That means you can have one custom function on the left earbud and a completely different custom function on the right earbud, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit. Something we lose with the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro versus the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro is the customizable LED on the back. So if I pinch both of the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, you'll see that this LED turns on the back of them. There is no LED at all on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. So if that's a feature you liked on the previous generation, that is no longer available. For markings on the Buds 4 Pro, you do have an L and an R to tell you which ear they go in, but the general shape of these makes it pretty easy to figure out without actually looking at the letters. For battery life, you should get up to 6 hours of music listening with active noise cancelling on, and up to 7 hours with it off. And if you include the battery from the case, you should get up to 26 hours of music listening with active noise cancelling on, and up to 30 hours with it off. If you need to switch the earbud tip to a different size, don't just grab it and pull right off. Instead, you want to roll it back like this, then grab up as high as you can and pull steadily and firmly straight back until it pops right off. When you grab the new tip, take a look to see where the notches are on it, and line those notches up with the little bumps on the earbud itself. Then just press it in firmly till it clicks. And just like that, you've got a new earbud tip on. And if you're someone who sweats like crazy, or your buds take an accidental splash in a puddle, that's okay because the buds are IP57 dust and water resistant. The case, on the other hand, is not water resistant, so definitely don't get this wet. And while the buds are water resistant, they're not rated for swimming, so definitely don't put this in the water on purpose. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do type situations. Now that we've got the Buds 4 Pro unboxed and we've done a quick overview of them, let's get them connected to the phone so I can show you guys the really cool stuff. Doing that is really easy, especially if you haven't paired your buds to any other devices before. You just open up the case, place it next to your device, and you'll immediately get a little pop-up that tells you that the new device has been found. Just tap connect, and the buds will automatically pair. You'll then need to agree to a license agreement and privacy notice, but you don't need to agree to sending diagnostic data. And you can also uncheck the automatic updates options, but I do recommend keeping those enabled. Now we just tap agree. We'll get a video demonstration on how to use them, but I already showed this to you guys. And it'll talk about answering and declining calls using head gestures, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a bit. Now we are all set and connected. So from here, if you want to adjust the settings, you have to pull down your quick toggles, then tap the settings gear, then tap on the Buds 4 Pro. And here is where the magic happens. But to really demonstrate this to you guys, I first have to put the buds in my ears. And as you can see, active noise canceling was automatically enabled as soon as I put them in my ear. And what this does is use the built-in microphones on the earbuds to detect the ambient sound, and it tries to cancel out any of that noise. So if there's a loud air conditioner or if you're on an airplane, it tries to get rid of those loud droning sounds. Ambient sound mode does the opposite. It uses the microphones to amplify the sounds around you so it sounds like you don't have the earbuds in at all. And adaptive is somewhere in the middle, so depending on what's happening in your current environment, it'll either enable active noise canceling or ambient sound mode. And if you just want to save some battery life because you don't need ambient sound mode or active noise canceling, you can just disable it completely. And if I jump back to one of these, you'll see that I can adjust the level of that right here. So if I want more ambient sound coming in, I can increase that to the max, or I can decrease it if I want less of the ambient sound coming in. And the same is true for the active noise canceling. I could make it really strong, or I could make it a little bit weaker if I prefer. Auto switch to ambient sound mode is really useful for two different use cases. The first is with voice detection. So if somebody comes into the room while I'm listening to some music, all I have to do is start talking and it'll automatically turn on ambient sound mode so I can hear the person who's talking to me. Then once we finish our conversation, it'll automatically turn ambient sound mode back off so I can get back to enjoying my music. Siren detection is excellent if you're going for a walk or a run or maybe a bike ride, and you want to make sure that you hear any emergency vehicles that might be approaching. What this does is it actively listens for siren sounds and will turn on ambient sound mode if a siren is detected. And using ambient sound during calls allows you to hear your own voice when you're on a phone call, and this is really useful for helping you not talk way louder than you actually have to when you're on the call. So those are the basic controls. Now let's take a look at some of the advanced features. So if I scroll down a little bit here, the first thing we get is Earbud Controls. MIDI controls are the controls I showed you guys earlier with the pinching to play, pause, and skip tracks, as well as the swiping up and down for volume controls. You can technically disable this so that no touch input works at all on the earbuds, but I do recommend keeping these controls on. Below the media controls, you can fully customize what the left and right earbud do when you pinch and hold the controls. Right now, both of them are set to change my noise controls, and what this does is switch between active noise canceling and ambient sound mode. But if I tap the controls, I can customize which specific controls I want to enable or disable or just toggle through with that long pinch gesture. And I recommend keeping one of your earbuds set to the noise controls because that is really useful. But as you can see here, I could switch over to the right earbud and have that do something entirely different, like activate the digital assistant. So if I want to just quickly talk to the Google Assistant, I can do that, or I can talk to Bixby, or I can enable an interpreter. And what this does is interpret whatever somebody's saying to me in real time in my preferred language. And if I tap the settings gear, I can also have it just open up one of these other three applications as well. So if you frequently use Spotify, you could set the right pinch and hold control to automatically open up Spotify and start playing music from there. And the last set of customizable ear controls is to answer or end a call with a pinch or decline a call with a pinch and hold. If you don't want to accidentally answer and or decline calls with your earbuds in, you can just disable these. But personally, this is a feature I use, so I'm going to keep those enabled. Next down the list, we have voice controls. And if we tap the Google Assistant option, you get this option to only require one unlock. What this means is that once you put the earbuds in your ears, as soon as you unlock your phone once, you'll be able to talk to Google Assistant without having to unlock your phone again. If you tap Hey Google and Voice Match, You can enable hands-free mode, which allows you to talk to the Google Assistant without having to actually touch any buttons. All you have to do is say. The next option down in voice controls is voice wake up. So this is not currently set, but you can set this for Bixby using the command. And if I tap the text, I can change what the voice wake up is. You could also improve the voice recognition accuracy, and this will have you say, in a quiet environment, so that it could better learn what your voice sounds like. And after you make that recording to improve the voice recognition, if you ever want to delete that, you can just tap this button right here. Below voice wake up is a voice commands option, which is even more useful. What this does is allow you to use voice commands to do things like play your music, stop your music, change which song you're playing, increase or decrease volume, and even answer or reject calls. So now that this is enabled, I can just say, play music. And you see that the music automatically starts. If I want to stop, I just say, stop music. And if I pull this down, you'll see that it did stop. So this is an excellent feature if you're doing something like cooking and you've got like raw meat on your hands. You can still control a lot of the things on your earbuds and your phone without ever touching anything. Next, we've got head gestures, and this is another really useful feature. There's two things you can do here. You can nod or shake your head, and this allows you to either decline or accept incoming calls. And it works as yes or no answers when you're talking to Bixby. So if I enable this, I can change which one it is. So if I prefer to have a shake my head for a yes, I could do that. I'm not sure why you would do that unless maybe you had some sort of a physical ailment that made it hard for you to maybe nod your head or shake your head. Then maybe that would be a reason to kind of switch these around. And if you want to test it out, you can just tap learn how, but I'm pretty sure all of you know how to nod and shake your head. Sound quality and effects is for more than just audio files. For starters, you get this 360 audio option, and if I enable this, anytime I'm watching a movie, it'll effectively turn the movie into a surround sound experience where I'll be able to hear things behind me, beside me, and in front of me, and it is a really awesome feature that does work very well if you do watch movies with your phone. I highly recommend testing this feature out. Head tracking is a bit less interesting. What this does is it makes it sound like the audio is always coming from the location of your phone. So no matter which way I turn my head, it's going to sound like the audio is coming from where the phone is. It's kind of neat, but I haven't really found any good use case for this. But if you could think of one, let me know in the comments down below. For now, I'm just going to disable this. If you're an audiophile, you'll love the fact that you do get a custom equalizer here, and this lets you really fine-tune the sound exactly the way you like it. But if you're someone who doesn't really know what all this equalizer stuff means, they do have some preset options for you depending on how you like your music. Loudness normalization is excellent if you're watching a movie that has really quiet parts and really loud parts in the same movie. What this does is prevents that jump scare from happening when it goes from a really quiet part suddenly to a really loud part and you're not expecting it. This will bring those really loud sounds down a little bit and the quiet sounds up a little bit so you can listen at more of a kind of a medium volume and not blow out your eardrums with the unexpected explosion. App sound settings only appear when you customize the earbud settings from within a media application from the quick panel. That's going to make a whole lot more sense if I just show you. So I'm going to jump into the music application. This is YouTube Music, but it can be pretty much any media application. I'm going to go ahead and start playing some music. And if I pull down my quick panel here, then tap the earbud icon in the media panel, I can make some changes down here. So if I want to change my equalizer to maybe dynamic, and then I back out of here, go ahead and pause this real quick, and go back into the app sound settings and back out here and back in. You'll see that the YouTube Music option is now there. And if I tap this, I'll be able to see the changes that I made. So if I don't want 360-degree audio when I'm listening to music, I can just disable that in that one specific application, but then have it enabled if I'm in something like Prime Video. And anytime you've customized settings like this for specific applications, those will all appear here. Adjust sound to fit is a really cool option that should be on by default, but what this does is automatically adjust how the earbuds sound based on how they're fitting in your ears, which is really neat. And I think this learns and adjusts over time, so maybe after using the earbuds for a couple weeks, come on in here and try turning it off and listening to music again and see how much of a difference it actually makes. For now, I'm going to go ahead and keep it on. Advanced quality options is for you audiophiles out there. Here's where you can enable the ultra high quality codec. And this is for getting the best possible sound quality out of the earbuds, but it may add a little bit of lag. So if you're going to be doing some mobile gaming with earbuds in, I don't recommend turning this on. That latency is probably going to be a bit too high, but for listening to hi-fi audio, definitely enable this. Another great option here is super wideband speech. This is going to make your call quality a lot clearer for whoever you're talking to. And to show you guys how much of a difference this actually makes, I'm going to record a phone call with it off and then on. This is the microphone quality on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro with super wideband speech disabled. And this is what the microphones sound like on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro with super wideband speech enabled. The Earbud Fit Test is excellent if you're not sure which earbud tip to use. So I recommend starting with the medium tips. These are the ones that came pre-installed on the earbuds. And you're going to put both of them in your ears and just hit start. Then it'll play a tone and tell you if you've got a good fit. If you don't have a good fit, it'll tell you, and then you can either try adjusting the earbuds in your ears or changing the tips. So this should definitely be one of the first things you do when you get your earbuds. So after you've done the fit test to make sure you've got the right tips, you want to come to Adapt Sound. And if I enable this and select my age range, it'll boost different frequencies depending on my age. But a better option would be to add a personalized sound profile. And to do this, you'll have to allow it to record audio. And once you start the test, it'll play a bunch of tones at different frequencies. And if you hear it, you tap yes, and if you don't, you tap no. And once you finish the test, the earbuds will automatically be adjusted to match your particular hearing. So the next option here is Manage Connections. Now what this does is allow you to choose what you want to use the earbuds for. So if you never want to use the earbuds for calls, you can just disable this, and anytime you get a call, it's going to come through your phone instead of through the earbuds. And seamless earbud connection is an incredible feature that's absolutely worth enabling if you have any other Samsung devices like a tablet, or some people I know use multiple phones. They've got one for work and one for personal. If they're all Samsung devices and you're signed into the same Samsung account on all of those devices, the earbuds will automatically switch over to the other device as soon as you start trying to play any audio on that other device. And this is a feature I use all the time because I'm constantly reviewing different phones and I don't have to worry about which phone the earbuds are connected to. It just automatically switches over to whichever one I'm using. But in order for seamless earbud connection to fully work, you need to back out of here and go into Auto Switch Buds and make sure it's enabled for your Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. And if you're ever going to sell your Buds 4 Pro, you would just tap this reset here, and it's sort of like a factory reset for the earbuds, so that when you give it to the next person, all they have to do is open the case, and they'll automatically be able to pair to their Samsung device like I showed you guys earlier. Advanced features is where we're going to find some, you guessed it, advanced features. Some of these are pretty simple, like read notifications aloud. This literally just reads your notifications to you when they come in. But you do get some customization on that, so you can either read it briefly, or you can read it in detail. But if you read it in detail and you get a lot of text messages, you're never going to be able to actually listen to music or anything else because it gets really detailed, and I don't recommend doing that unless you very infrequently get notifications. You can also customize for individual applications. So maybe for messages, you just want it to be read briefly, but for calendar appointments, maybe you want some more detail if those come in while you're wearing your earbuds, so you can have that one read in detail. And you can obviously enable or disable whichever ones you'd like. Now, by default, the notifications won't be read aloud if your phone screen is currently on. So obviously, if you're using your phone and a notification comes in and it pops up on your screen, you don't really need that read to you because you can just read it yourself. But if you do want it read to you, you can enable this. And this is a really nice feature here. It's called Exclude Filtered Notifications. If I tap this and enable it, then tap Filter Notifications, I can prevent the earbuds from reading any older notifications or notifications based on background activities or minimize notifications. Jumping back to the Advanced Features menu, we also get this in-ear detection option, which does different things depending on whether you just put your earbuds in or took them out. So the first option here is called During Calls. And if you take out both earbuds while you're on a call, it's going to automatically switch that call to your phone instead of your earbuds, because obviously you won't be able to hear them anymore if your earbuds aren't in. So I definitely recommend keeping that feature on. While playing media, we'll automatically pause your music if you take out a single earbud, and then play the music as soon as that earbud goes back in. So if I take a look at this music right here, if I start playing it, then I take out my earbud, it'll automatically stop the music. Once I put the earbud back in, it'll start it up. That was really fast. It was like as soon as it touched my ear, it went back on. So this is another excellent feature that's definitely worth enabling. Next stretch reminders is something I absolutely need because I have it. Look, it literally says it right here. If you hunch over your phone or desk. Yeah, I hunch over at my desk often. I try to have good posture, but I sit at the desk for a lot of hours a day. Right, I'm sitting at a desk right now filming this video for hours, and I don't always have the best posture because of it. If I enable neck stretch reminders, it's going to automatically be detecting my head position while I have the earbuds in. And if it notices that I've got my head bent downwards, it's going to be like, hey, bro, knock it off. Like, you got to have better posture. And it's going to have me do a neck stretch. So when you enable this for the first time, you have to calibrate the earbuds. So I'm going to go ahead and tap start. Once the calibration is done, it'll track my head position. And if it's in a poor posture for 10 minutes, I'll get an alert on my phone telling me to stretch my neck. And it also shows me how to stretch your neck. So just do what that guy does, and that's a neck stretch. And the last feature in advanced features is labs. And what this does is gives us the option for gaming mode. But as you can see, because I have the ultra high quality audio on, I can't use gaming mode because this is kind of like the opposite of ultra high quality mode, right? Because ultra high quality increases the latency or the delay from what's happening on the phone to what you hear to make sure the quality is much better. Gaming mode does the opposite. It reduces the quality a bit so you have the least amount of latency possible. So if you're playing fast-paced, like first-person shooter games on a mobile device, then you'll definitely want to enable gaming mode to get the maximum competitive advantage. And just to give you guys an idea of how much of a difference this actually makes, here's the latency with ultra high quality enabled. Here it is with ultra high quality and gaming modes both turned off. And here it is with gaming mode enabled. Accessibility has some incredible features for anyone who is hearing impaired. So let's say you've lost some hearing in maybe just your left ear. You can actually adjust the left-right sound balance to be louder on the left side. And as you move this slider back and forth, it's going to play some music in your ear. And you can adjust the slider so that the volume sounds exactly the same in both the right and left ear. And this alone will make a huge difference for how enjoyable it is to listen to music or watch movies on your phone. You can also enable noise controls with just one earbud. What this means is you can enable things like ambient sound mode or active noise canceling with just one earbud in. But something important to point out about this is that if you don't have hearing loss and you decide to just do this and see what it's like, it can be a bit disorienting, so I don't recommend playing with this if you don't actually have hearing loss. But you know what? I bet that since I said that, some of you guys are going to try this just to see how disorienting it is. Hearing enhancements for ambient sound is very similar to the left-right sound balance. If I tap the text and enable it, you'll see that I can adjust the ambient sound volume on the left and right earbud independently of each other. So if I was hard of hearing in my left ear, I could just increase it in the left ear only. You also get the option to boost voices in front of you. And this is a great feature if you just want to make it easier to hear the person in front of you without amplifying all the other sounds around you as well. And you can also increase the amount of background noise that's filtered out. And all of this you can hear in real time in the earbuds while you're adjusting them, so definitely make sure the earbuds are in your ears before making any of these changes. Adapt Sound is the same feature I showed you guys earlier, it's just in two different areas in the settings. Find My Earbuds is something you're definitely going to want to set up as soon as you get your earbuds, because if you lose these, then try to set this up, it's not going to work. So let's go ahead and tap Find My Earbuds and continue through the setup process. This next part's important if you ever want to permanently share your location with somebody, because there is a built-in function that allows friends or family to be able to track the location of your device in real time. And anytime someone tracks your device, you'll get a notification, and you can have those notifications show up only once every 30 days, 20 days, 10 days, or every time they check your location. So just pick something that makes sense to you and tap next. I should probably also point out that you don't have to share your location with anyone. It's just an option if you want it. When you get this location access request, allow it while using the application, because this is what allows you to find your devices when they're not actively connected to your phone. Once that's set up, you should see your Galaxy Buds at the top of the list. If it's not at the top, you can scroll through the list to find it, and it'll even show the last known location of that device. So now if you ever need to find your Galaxy Buds, you just need to come to this Find page and tap Ring, then Start, and play sound, and your buds will start ringing. And this is actually really loud. And you can turn off one bud at a time, so if you only lost the left one, you can search for just that one. And to be clear, the buds don't need to be in the case for this to work. Like if I take these out of the case and then start making them ring again, like that still works, they'll still ring. And if the case is closed, you won't get a ring option because the earbuds won't actually be connected to your phone. Instead, you'll get a search nearby option. And if you tap this, it'll start searching for the buds in the case. But this process does take a bit longer. Once the earbuds are found, you get this meter telling you how close you are. And as you can see, the signal gets weaker as I bring the buds further away from the phone. And if I bring them back, the signal strength maxes back out. And what's great about this is that once the phone detects the earbuds, you can start ringing them as well, regardless of how close you are to them. So if I tap this, the earbuds are going to ring right inside the case. And that's going to make it a whole lot easier to find these. There is one important detail I have to point out about if your buds are in the case and you're trying to find them though, because if I go to my settings here, you're not going to see the buds as an option here. Even if I go to connected devices, the buds are still not going to show up anywhere here. So if your earbuds are in the case and you lost them, you have to access that find menu a different way. To do that, you're going to pull down your quick toggles, then tap Smart Things, then Start It, tap Open App. If it's your first time opening up Smart Things, you'll just have to go through the setup process. Then once you're in the main Smart Things page, just scroll down a bit until you find the Samsung Find page. Then just tap this. Then tap this menu icon right here. Then scroll down and find your Galaxy Buds 4 Pro and tap those. Then tap Search Nearby at the bottom. And that'll bring you back to this search screen. And one last detail with this Find My Earbuds option, if your case is open and you can connect to it with this menu here through the settings, then you tap the Find My Earbuds. Since it's already set up, it's just going to show me where they're located and allow me to start ringing them immediately. Diagnostics opens up the Samsung Members application and not only allows you to diagnose technical issues with your Galaxy Buds, but also with pretty much any of your Samsung products, including your phone and even Galaxy watches. But right now, we're just going to take a look at the Galaxy Buds 4. And here you can see that you get 7 different things to test. So if I tap one of them like in ear detection, it tells me to put the earbuds in my ears, then start the test. And it shows that it does see that they're in my ears. If I take them out of my ears and then hit test again, it's going to say that they aren't in my ears and that the ears are not detected. And if I put in just one earbud and test again, it'll show me which specific earbud is not working properly. So if you feel like something's not working quite right with the earbuds, this is a great way to test various aspects of them. The next option is really cool. It's called Listen to Audio Broadcast, and this is using Auracast. Simply put, you have 2 different options. The first option is to share. So if you have something like a Galaxy S26 Ultra or newer Samsung device, you can broadcast audio from your phone to any other devices using Bluetooth in a similar way to AM and FM radio. There's no limitation to how many people can tune into the broadcast, as long as they're close enough to your phone to be within Bluetooth range. And you have the choice between broadcasting media, so if you're playing like a video or music or something like that, or your voice, so you could broadcast your voice that you're recording with the phone. But the second option is a bit more useful, and that's for listening, and this works with your Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, and it allows them to connect to someone else's Auracast broadcast. And this would primarily be used if you're at something like a big convention center, and maybe you're sitting in the back and it's a bit hard to hear the speaker. Sometimes they offer Auracast broadcasts, so you can listen to the speaker through your earbuds a whole lot more clear then you'll be able to hear them through the auditorium speakers. And if you don't immediately see the Auracast broadcast here in this section, but the event does have an Auracast QR code to scan, just tap the QR code button in the top right, and you'll be able to scan that code and start listening. Earbud software updates, pretty self-explanatory. It just checks for updates for the earbuds and lets you install them. Tips and user manual is exactly that. You'll see some tips that I'll be talking about in this video. And there's also an imaginary user guide. If I tap this, it takes me to this page that says it's not there for whatever reason. Samsung's devices, this is pretty consistent. I don't know when this user guide is going to actually get there for the Galaxy Buds 4, but there should be one there eventually. But in the meantime, if you are looking for deep dive guides on Samsung's devices that are far more detailed than anything you're going to get from Samsung, I do have a few of those types of guides on shop.techisode.tv. And these are massive guides. The S25 Ultra guide alone is about 100 pages, and that's just for the camera. And the Galaxy Watch guide is a whopping 200 pages. This one is quite an overkill guide, but it covers literally everything you could possibly need to know about Samsung's Galaxy Watches. And in case you're wondering, I am working on an S26 Ultra camera guide, and I'm hoping to have that out within the next couple months. And just out of curiosity, if you've purchased one of my guides before and you want to see another similar guide for maybe a different product or a different feature set, like maybe instead of cameras, you want a guide on something different for the S26 series, let me know in the comments down below. The last option before we get into some of the hidden features is the About Earbuds option at the very bottom. And besides giving you the model number, serial number, and software information, you can actually rename your earbuds here. This name works for me, but you could pick literally anything you want. Now it's time to talk about some of the hidden features with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. And one of the most important ones is hidden right within the camera application. So if I jump in here and go into video mode, then I go into my settings by tapping this quick menu here, then the settings toggle, then tap audio options, then enable 360 audio recording. Once this is enabled, I can open up my earbuds to connect them to the phone. And if I go back to the video mode here and my buds connect, there'll be a new option here in the top right corner called 360. If I tap this, I can enable or disable it. And what this does is when the earbuds are in my ears, it'll use the microphones from the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro to record audio in 360 degrees, just like a surround sound system. And one of the most impressive parts of this is just the clarity of the microphones. But the best way to explain this is to just have you listen to it. So toss on some headphones and have a listen to this sample. If we jump back to the home screen and long press in an empty space, then tap Widgets, then scroll down a bit and tap Galaxy Buds, you'll see that we get 4 new widgets for the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro specifically. These 2 widgets allow you to immediately select which sound mode you want to be in. So if you want to quickly switch from maybe ambient sound mode to active noise canceling, that's just 1 tap away. The largest widget also shows you not only the battery life of the buds themselves, but also the battery life of the case. And the same for the 2x2 widget. You'll see the full battery percentage for everything here. But something I need to point out is that the case battery percentage is only shown if the earbuds are in the case. As soon as you take them out, that case battery percentage will disappear. And if you use one of these smaller widgets and you have your earbuds in, tapping the icon will just toggle through all of the modes in order. And if you own a Galaxy Watch, you can scroll all the way to the end and add a tile, then scroll down a bit on this page and you'll see the Buds controller option. If you tap this, you'll get 2 options. The first one's an OK tile, but the second one adds even more functionality, so we're going to go ahead and add that one. I can not only quickly change the sound mode by tapping in one of these little circles right here, but if I tap the name of the Galaxy Buds, I'll be able to see the battery percentage. I can have those normal noise controls again right here, but if I go a little bit further down, I can even adjust my ambient sound volume to either increase or decrease it depending on my environment. I can also enable or disable 360 audio and head tracking right from my watch. So if you have a Galaxy Watch, this is definitely worth setting up. This next part is incredible for anyone who ever travels to a different country. If you pull down your quick panel, then your quick toggles, you should see an option here called Interpreter. If you tap this, you'll be able to have a conversation with somebody else in real time in a different language. You just select your language at the bottom, select their language at the top, and you can add a bunch of different languages as well. There's a lot of options there. And if I tap this microphone icon, everything I say is going to automatically be translated to Spanish. And you'll see it all just fill in right there in real time. And I can even tap this icon in the top right corner to flip that script, so I can stand facing the other person and have the conversation. But this isn't where the earbuds come in. If you tap these 3 bars here, then listening mode, this will allow you to do something like go on a tour in a different country and hear what the tour guide is saying in your own language. But that part is only possible with Samsung's Galaxy Buds. If I didn't have Galaxy Buds connected to the phone, I would not have the option to hear the interpretation. I would only see it written on this page. And having it read through the earbuds is as simple as making sure that the speaker icon is enabled. Then you just tap the microphone icon to start translating. Y por esta parte del video necesito hablar en un diferente idioma, pero solo hablo un poco español, no mucho. And as you can see, the Spanish is filling in on top, and the English is playing back in my ear in real time. While we're in the quick panel, there's a few more really important features to point out. Like, for example, if you long press the volume slider while the earbuds are connected, you'll get some extra customization options here. And you'll also see the battery percentage of both the buds and the case. And if I tap Details, it'll take me to the Sound Quality and Effects menu. If I'm playing music, I can tap the earbud icon right here, and that'll get me back to these controls. Or I can tap Media Output and change which device is going to be playing that music. And as a quick bonus tip, if I'm on my home screen or in a different application and I'm playing some kind of media, whether it's a movie or music in the background, I can tap the media icon in the top left of my screen, and I'll get those same controls right there. If I scroll to the bottom of my quick toggles, I can tap the Nearby Devices option, then tap on my Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, and get quick access to some customization options. And here's a quick bonus tip. This even works if the earbuds are not connected directly to your phone. As you can see here, I have 2 other devices that are nearby, and if I tap maybe the Tab S10 Ultra, I can actually control some settings on that right from my phone. We're going to talk about how the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro work with non-Samsung devices in a moment, But first, if you're already sold on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro and want to get a great deal on them, you can check the affiliate links in the description and pinned comment, or the one that's popping up on the screen now. Samsung is constantly having deals on these buds, so it's definitely worth checking it out at different times. And since those are affiliate links, it does really help out the channel when you guys use those links. So much so that I couldn't actually afford to purchase all the products I review on this channel without you guys using those links. So I just wanted to say a huge thanks to anyone who's ever used my links to make these videos possible. Now we need to talk about the limitations when you're connected to a non-Samsung Android device or an iPhone. Now, if you're connected to an iPhone, you're completely limited. There is no application that you can use to get any extra features with the iPhone. The earbuds are basically just going to be dumb wireless earbuds that connect to the Bluetooth settings on the iPhone. And the only option you're going to get is to be able to change the sound modes by squeezing and holding the stem. But that's it. You don't get any of these extra controls if you're connected to an iPhone. So if you do have an iPhone, I recommend just skipping the Galaxy Buds, just generally speaking, and going with Apple's own AirPods. But for those of you who have non-Samsung Android devices, you do get a lot of functionality as long as you download the Galaxy Wearable application from the Play Store. And the application is made by Samsung. So once you download that application, go ahead and open it. You'll go through a setup process, and then you'll be able to see all of these settings here. But you'll notice that you don't get quite the same amount of settings. You get a lot, but there are some limitations, and we're going to talk about that now. For starters, you do still get all of the different noise controls, and even the auto switch to ambient sound options are still available on a non-Samsung Android device. The first difference you'll see is the loss of head gestures. So if you really wanted those head gestures for nodding and shaking your head, you can't do that with a non-Samsung Android device. If we jump into sound quality and effects, you'll see that we also lose the 360-degree audio, the loudness normalization, the app-specific sound settings, the advanced quality options, including the ultra-high quality audio codec, and the super wideband speech, so you get none of that on non-Samsung Android devices, and you even lose the adapt sound option. Managed connections actually moves into the advanced features section on non-Samsung Android devices. And you can see it right here, manage connections, but it looks like you do lose the ability to only use the earbuds for either calls or audio, unless that feature is built in somewhere else on the settings for your particular Android device. In the advanced features section, we keep most of the same settings, but we lose the labs setting, so that gaming mode for ultra low latency is going to be gone. For accessibility features, we keep all of them except for adapt sound. You do still get a Find My Earbuds option, but it's a little bit different. You can only make the earbuds start ringing, but you don't get that detailed search option that you do with a Samsung phone. Diagnostics is not available at all, and neither are the Auracast features, and the rest of the settings here are the same. So as long as you're okay with missing out on those specific features, the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro is still an excellent buy for non-Samsung Android devices. So the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro are pretty capable earbuds with a lot of cool features. But if you really want to maximize your phone's functionality beyond just adding some premium earbuds, you'll definitely want to check out this video where I show you more than 40 of the best accessories for any Samsung phone, including this little guy, which every adult needs to have. And consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you don't want to miss more deep dive tech reviews. That's it for this tech episode. Jesus loves you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.